Hey everybody, welcome. This is Dr. Levi with your show, The Dr. Levi Show. Happy to have you with us today, November 9th, 2016. Beautiful here in Los Angeles, California. So I hope and believe that wherever you are today, you're making it a great day. Remember, even if it's sort of dusky outside or rainy, you bring the sunshine. You are the sunshine. How do you do that? Well, by embracing a life that is really about gratitude. That's about service. That's about giving. That's about forgiveness. That's about being the best man or woman or person that you can be. And you do that by doing what I thought about this the other night. Living in this place of what I call radical individualization, being just you and being happy about you just the way you are. Why? Because you take you wherever you go. So feel good about you and love you. You know, if you're overweight, if you're underweight, if you're fit, if you're not very fit, you know what? There's only one of you in the entire spectrum, in the entire macrocosm of the universe. So appreciate yourself. Love yourself. I especially say that to women that are in our audience. So often I get emails from women stating that they don't feel good about their bodies, or their husband or their wife or their spouse doesn't like their bodies, or they feel overweight. You know, the bottom line is this. You want people to love you just the way you are. You want to know and understand that people don't complete you. They can compliment you, but they don't make you better than what you already are, because you're perfect just by being. So just keep that in mind. We never need validation from the outside. All validation comes from within. So love yourself just the way you are. Appreciate yourself just the way you are. Appreciate every freckle, any frown, any wrinkle in your face. Just love you. There's only one of you. And the world is waiting for you. Why? Because the world needs your creativity. The world needs your passion. The world needs your service. The world needs you. I need you. Remember, in this entire spectacular, eclectic fabric of humanity, it's all about how do we weave it together. So with the election yesterday, I should say this morning, with that happening, you know, I want to remind everyone to have hope and to believe that the universe has everything. The universe or God, whatever works for you, has everything lined up, and everything is for a reason. And I think, as my mother says to me so often, things that happen in our lives and people who are in our lives are there for a reason, a season, a lesson, or a blessing. So I want us to really not think about this election, no matter which side of the spectrum you were on, because it was the most vitriolic election I can remember in my life. It was filled with so much hatred, so much misogyny, so much racism, so much dissension, and so much what I call dissociative behavior. There was nothing about it that was about unification, that was about love, nothing on either part. All right. So I want to say, with the election being over, let's use the election and the results as a narrative really to change our lives, to be better people, and also to be in our communities as activists as well as advocates. So if you didn't vote, don't talk to me. I'm not that guy. I don't want to hear anything you have to say. Nothing. So with that said, I think it's so important that we exercise our rights to vote. It's so important that we talk to our children about voting, our neighbors, our communities, because it's only by doing that we're able to instigate change, to make a forward move, to stop the status quo the way it is. It's really about living a life of difference. Well, how do you do that? By making a difference in your community, not being a spectator. It's like being a bully. I've talked about this before. The bullying scenario comes in three different ways, and that is, there's the bully, there's the bullied, and there's the bystander. So I want everyone to look at this election as, don't be the bystander, don't worry about the bully, and don't worry about being bullied. Be proactive about your life, being the best person that you can be. Therefore, you won't allow someone to bully you, because we only accept and allow people to treat us the way we want them to. So if you say, hey, that doesn't work for me, the bullying stops like that. If you're a bystander just looking at things going on, then don't complain. You're the bystander. You're not really participating in life. You're just looking at the lives of other people. So I want to remind everyone, don't be the bystander when it comes to politics or bullying. Don't be the bully when it comes to politics and life. And don't be the one that is bullied. Just don't do it. In relationships, the same way. Just don't. So, the election is over, and and the candidate that won, will be with the 45th president, if I'm not mistaken. So we just go forward, and hopefully that things will work out for the best. That's what I say. We have to just believe that everything, by the grace of God, will work out for the best. Now, with that said, talking about the best, we have two guests I'm going to bring on shortly that are really about the best. They're about living lives of integrity. They're about making a difference in their community. They're about reality. And the thing I love about reality, because reality is authentic. Reality is just what's happening now. Not looking in the past, not really going far in the future, but really living in the now. And one thing about embracing the noun, the N-O-W, allows us to know exactly where we are on the spectrum of life. Are we again being a bystander? Are we being bullied? Or are you the bully? Or are you living in that place of comprehensive acceptance of yourself, loving yourself just the way you are, and knowing that you are here for a great purpose, to make the world a better place, to be a better person in your community, to be a better person in your church, your temple, your synagogue, wherever that may be for you. The goal here of our show is to talk about the power and the beauty and intensity of inclusivity, of achievement, of passion, of creativity. And the great thing about our guests today, Eunique Hakeem and Rosemary Lopez, they're really about making a difference. They're really about helping to shape young minds, knowing that the children are our legacy. The children are the ones that will come forward to make the world better. They're the ones that lift us up, that raise us up, that remind us to be better. And when it comes to their organization, what they do, I thought their story was beautiful. I believe their mission statement is phenomenal. And I think who they are as human beings reminds us about being active, about being involved, about making a difference. And I just want to say that I hope everyone really, again, uses the election as a teaching point to change the narrative of your life, to get involved, to not just sit back and watch, to not be the bystander who doesn't participate, but to get involved with your life, because that's the only way we can make change. Write to your senators, write to your Congress people, write to your council people, but that's the only way we make a difference. Through that, and of course the other thing, my big platform here is about education. I'll share this with you before I bring my guests on. One thing my dad said, and even one of my uncles, and I've talked about my uncles before because they were really drunkos, because they were drunk most of the time. But my uncles would always talk about the power of education. And my dad told me once, and he didn't tell me a lot of great things, but when he did speak, and I listened, there was some greatness there for me to take. And he would always say, "Well, Levi, you still in school, boy?" And I said, "Yeah, still. I want to get my master's, and I want to go to graduate school. I want to do this and that." He said, "School was never really for me." He said, "I'm really grateful that you, as my son, appreciate school." And I asked him, I said, "Why is that?" He said, "Well, I'm a janitor, and I've been swinging these mops and brooms for many, many years." He said, "The great thing about education, it will allow you to choose versus to be chosen. It will allow you to sign a check versus have someone sign a check for you or to you." And when he said that, I would always look at him and think, I wonder how crazy is my dad? I used to think, is he like a little crazy, a lot of crazy, just super crazy, a mega crazy? But now I look back at 35 plus, and I'm grateful for what he said. I'm appreciative, and now I value the power of education. I value the power of being in school for decades. I value having multiple degrees, knowing that my degrees are really not about me. My degrees are a reflection of what I need to do for society to make society better and to be of greater service. Again, I believe the highest order of humanity is about service. And again, we only get what we're willing to give away. When it comes to giving away knowledge, giving away love, giving away an understanding of lifting people up, our guest today, Eunique Hakeem and beautiful Rosemary Lopez, and I should say, let me qualify too, handsome Eunique also. I don't want him to say, "Well, damn, he didn't say I was good looking." So I want to say we got a lot of white teeth in this room right now. It's not just Janet and Jarvis. it's Eunique and Rosemary. So I want to thank you guys for joining us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
It's really wonderful to have you both here.
It's
I
such a
really
pleasure.
It's a pleasure, really.
So let's talk about. I want to hear about where you're from, and then I want to talk about reality TV. Then I want to talk about your foundation, and then I want to cap it off by us really talking about your book. And what that process is, right? Because I know for myself as an author, it's not a joke when it comes to writing. It's very focused, specific, brain intensive energy to write. It's real. When I say not a joke, it is not a joke.
Indeed.
So Eunique, where are you from now?
I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio.
Great.
Yeah,
and
born and raised.
What brought you out here to LA?
The industry.
Really?
Entertainment industry. I came out here to be an actor,
Yes.
musician. I play jazz piano, so I kind of came out here to pursue my career in entertainment.
Fantastic. What did your family think about that when you were making that transition? Because it's a big jump from Cleveland to LA.
They were nervous. They were very nervous because Cleveland is kind of like a small little town.
Right.
And a lot doesn't go on there. So, you know, a lot of the things that go on here you don't really see in those little parts of the world, you know what I mean? So they were very nervous for me, you know what I'm saying? Very apprehensive and all that. But, after a while, they got used to it.
And you just did it.
I just did it, yeah.
And you did it why? You think because of fearlessness? You think it was your fearlessness that brought you here, your faith that brought you here, or your passion to do what you really wanted to pursue?
It was my drive. All my life I've always been driven. I've always had a vision and a goal in mind that I always wanted to achieve. And in whatever capacity I was going to live my life in, I always wanted to affect people.
Absolutely.
So me leaving Ohio to me was like a milestone. It was one of those things that I had to do.
Wow.
And I knew I wasn't going to be there for the rest of my life. I just knew it.
Right. You knew that innately.
I knew it. I knew it as a little boy that this is not where I'm going to stay. I knew that.
I tell you, when you say that, it makes me think, when I was a kid, there was a house that we lived in. It had rats big as cats. And I remember at night I would stay up, and my sister's bed was right next to my bed. And I would stay up nights a lot to throw stuff at the rats to make sure they didn't jump on the bed for my sister.
Wow.
And I remember one night sitting in bed thinking to myself, it's going to be much, much better later. I just have to get through this stage. I have to just maneuver through. But I know living in a house filled with rats and roaches and right down the street from pimps and prostitutes and drug dealers, I'd always think, God bless them. But I know this is not for me, but I just have to keep moving, keep making these steps, and finally I'm going to get there. So I know that feeling you need.
Yeah. And it was exactly that. I look at everything, even as a little boy, I looked at everything that I went through as just a mild lesson learned to actually prepare me for the next level of my life.
Absolutely.
So I definitely appreciated everything I went through because it really prepared me for a lot of different things.
It gives you character, it gives you strength.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it teaches you life. You get to see life in its full perspective instead of just from one perspective, which gives you a variety of options.
This is true.
So I definitely appreciated a lot of things that I went through. It made me a better man and, made me who I am.
Absolutely. It gives you a lot of strength of character also.
Absolutely.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have one brother and one sister.
And what do they do?
My brother is in the entertainment industry. He's a ghostwriter.
Great.
He writes music. And orchestrates music. And my sister, she has a degree in journalism.
Yes.
So she teaches English and things of that nature. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, what is it like when you guys come together, for example, like Thanksgiving? What is that like? Do you go to Cleveland? Do they come out here?
No, actually, my whole family's here now.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. When I moved out here, my brother came a little bit after I came, and then my sister got married to someone out here.
Yes.
So she came after. And then my parents said, well, our kids are in California, so let's go too. So
That's fantastic.
They moved out here too. So within like a 3-year time frame, my whole family was here.
Wow, you had all the support system.
Yeah, we're very close. We're a very close family. I have a huge family.
Wow.
It's very huge.
That's fantastic, Eunique. Well, we're
Thank
glad to have you here. Rosemary Lopez.
Yes, sir.
Let's hear about you. I wish you guys could see Rosemary. She exudes this angelic, beautiful energy. It's just great to have you here.
And by the way, I have to commend you and applaud you for all those beautiful words at the beginning of the show.
Oh,
I was
thank
just sitting
you,
here like,
Rosemary.
yes. The whole time I'm just, amen.
Were you really?
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Too bad my mic wasn't on. I was hearing amen the whole time.
Well, thank you, Rosemary. Well, where are you from now, Rosemary?
I'm a native, actually. I'm from the Valley.
Really?
I'm a Valley girl.
So you're an LA girl.
I'm an LA girl.
Fantastic.
From the Valley, yeah.
Well, tell me about your travels here now. What brought you into the entertainment industry?
It all started maybe like 6 years ago. It was like a little spark that,
Yes.
And so I started doing, you know, background acting, all that stuff.
Yes.
And then I dabbled into acting for a while, but then I realized, you know what, it was more of a hobby than a career choice.
Yes.
And then it was crazy because I kept telling myself, how long ago? Maybe like 5 years ago.
About 5 years ago, yeah.
I kept telling myself, you know what, because I used to host segments for a network.
Yes.
And so I was like, you know what, this is fun. I think this is what I want to do, you know? And so I kept telling myself, like, I think I want to do radio. But I didn't know how to get started, you know?
Right.
Like, I didn't know what, you know.
How to put those pieces together.
Yeah. So long behold, I meet Eunique.
Yes.
And the crazy part about how we met is, you know, if you want to talk about divine intervention, like, it was just crazy because at the time I had a Facebook. I don't have one anymore, but at the time I had a Facebook, and he was getting ready to put together a show called The Bay Show.
Yes.
A online talk show. And he was looking for co-hosts, and he was looking specifically for a female co-host. And so he reaches out to somebody he knows, and he's like, hey, you know, I'm looking for a co-host. Do you know anybody? And she's like, oh, yeah, I know this girl.
Yes.
You know, she's from the Bay Area, but she's going to come to LA soon and stuff like that, right? So he's like, all right, what's her name?
Mm-hmm.
And she kept saying Rose. And he's like, all right, well, what's her last name? So I can look her up. And she like wouldn't give, she was just kept saying Rose is her name. And Eunique's like, okay, so I have Rose. That's what I'm going to look on her Facebook, right? I'm going to go on her Facebook and look under her friends and find. So he types in Rose, right? Mm-hmm. Eunique types in Rose.
Yes.
And 4 other girls come up,
and
they're all,
yep.
and they're
all sisters.
They're all African Americans,
yes,
right?
African American.
So Eunique picks one. He's like, all right, maybe it's this one. And her first name wasn't even Rose. Rose was her middle name.
Yeah, that's her middle name. Yeah.
And so he just picks one, right? He's like, all right, well, this one looked like she might be, I don't know. He just picks one and messages her, but it turns out I received the message. So when I respond, I receive the message talking about like, hey, I have a radio show. I'm looking for a co-host. Somebody referred you, this and this and that. And the crazy part is, Dr. Levi, is that I have a Fresno. I'm not from Fresno.
Yes.
But I have a Fresno. Long story short, I have a Fresno area code number.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, he's like, yeah, she told me you were from Fresno. So a lot of people think I'm from Fresno because I have that area code, right? Code,
yes.
So, and I'm just like, you know, I'm like, well, this is crazy. Like, I was just thinking that I wanted to do radio, right? And this guy, here's this random guy I don't even know reaching out, right? Yeah. So, I guess I respond, and he says that when he opens the message, he's like, "Who's this girl? Like, this isn't the girl I messaged. Like,
really,
the girl I messaged was
true story.
You know,
it like wasn't.
Yeah. So he's like, "Who is this girl?" You know, and so that's just like that's how we connected, and we from
just like that.
Yeah, just like that. Years later, and you know, I joined the radio. Industry, and here I am. Like,
it's
now
fantastic.
we have the reality show together, and
very spiritual, man.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's so
spiritual
crazy
stuff.
So that's how I got involved in the.
You know, and what did your parents think about you making this move into radio?
You know, it's crazy. So when I went to school, I initially went to school for criminal justice. I was studying criminal justice, and so when this, you know, entertainment stuff sparked, I told my parents, I was like, you know what, this isn't for me. Like, I love, you know, criminal justice, but it's not for me. I can't see myself doing this for the rest of my life, right?
Right.
But I didn't have a plan B. So, but at the time, like I said, the whole, you know, theater arts and all that stuff interests me. So I switched my major in the meantime to theater arts. To be honest with you, they weren't happy in the beginning. They weren't very supportive.
And they weren't because what was their reason?
They just felt like it wasn't, how do I say it? They just felt like they were like, oh, you're just going through a phase. Like, I don't feel like you can actually make a career out of being, not that they didn't believe in me, but they just didn't really see it as a career. My dad's in law enforcement.
Yes.
My mom works for a doctor.
Yes.
You know, so it's like, they just didn't, you know, they just thought.
They didn't see, like, you want to say maybe the financial stability.
Right, exactly. And then they were just like, you know what, you graduated with high honors, you know, you're smart, like, you know, you should be doing more with that, you know what I mean? So initially they didn't support it. But then I started, at the time I was running for Miss California.
Yes.
So after that, they saw that I was serious about it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to go into this entertainment world, you know, like, I'm doing this.
Right.
And so at that point they were like, okay, you know what? We're going to support you. You know, like, we have no choice. We see that it's not a phase. Like, you're really interested in this. So you know what? We got you back. So after that, I have their support.
You know, that's a great story. I love the fact that I think so often parents, mine included, we really have to remind them that we're here to really pursue our dreams and our passions. And if we do that and they approve of it, fantastic.
Right.
But if we do that and they don't approve of it, that's still fantastic.
Right.
Because we have to live our lives. I always remind my family that you've lived your life. You've done what you want to do, and I never criticize or point it. So I got to do what works for me. And I always think about jobs as, again, something my dad said too, is, you want to do a job that you love so much that if you never got paid for it, you love going to do that every day. And I think when we work with people that we really love and like and want to be around, it makes the job easier. But if you're doing a job that you can't stand, you don't like the people, don't like the job, don't feel you're really adding to the virtue and love of society and not doing something that has value, at least to yourself, you don't feel good about it.
Right, exactly. I agree with you 100%.
Wow. What are your parents, when they see you now and they see you unfolding to really be this embrace of success, of happiness, of change, what are their thoughts now?
We don't really talk about it, but I know that they're still supportive.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because you can feel it intuitively.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. We don't necessarily talk about it, but like I know my mom, she'll brag to her coworkers. You know what I mean? Exactly. She'll be like, "Oh, look what Rose did," Right. And so, my dad does too sometimes. So like I know we don't really directly talk about it, but I know that they're supportive, there. That they're there. Yeah.
And what about your siblings?
I have a brother, he's 21, and a sister, she's 13. And my brother, he's kind of like, I don't know, he has his own mindset.
His own stuff.
All
right. He's doing his own life.
Right.
All right.
My sister, she does, I feel like she does look up to me. Yeah. Fantastic. She does look up to me. So, she's a good girl, smart girl.
That's really great. Yeah. It's great to hear these stories. I love the story about how you guys connected. Again, there has to be divine intervention there.
Yeah.
Because even electronically, nothing can break the will of God. If she had to get the message, she had to get the message. She got it.
Seriously,
right. And the crazy part is that we weren't. And I asked Eunique. I said, "Hey, what's the name of the girl who referred me so that I can go back and say thank you?"
Right.
So he gives me the name and I go look for her. I've never seen this girl in my life. Like, I don't know who she is. I don't even have her as a friend on Facebook.
Really?
Like, yeah.
Insane.
So I'm just like, this is crazy. Like, I don't know if it was just, like she happened to know somebody else whose name was Rose who actually lived in the
Fresno area.
You know what I mean? I don't know, but it was just, I just know that it was meant to.
It was meant to
be.
Like,
whatever happened, like that's
and
what
just
was
think
meant to
that
happen.
was 5 years ago. And things have still continued to bloom and unfold really well.
And now we started off with the radio show, and now we work together again as well with the Light Project.
It's just fantastic.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Light Project. I do want to talk about reality show. Let's talk about the Light Project, because I think that really is about I'm excited about talking about it, because it is. It's great because it's really about unfoldment of the minds of young children.
Yes.
Of letting them know that they can be achievers.
Yes.
Of letting them know that you don't have to be a follower. You can be a leader, but you have to step forth and do the work.
Yes.
And that you are giving them the tools to do it. And to do it in a way whereby they don't feel victimized or less than, or that they're being preached to or talked down.
Right.
It's really about lifting everybody. Right. So let's talk about the Light Project. I want to hear about it.
Well, the title, The Light Project, basically comes from my concept of light and dark, and the principles that go along with it. Like, this whole room was dark, we wouldn't be able to see anything in it. We would be ignorant to that. But when light comes into the room, now we can see this, that, and the other. Right. So it goes the same. It's indicative of a young mind and how it thinks.
I love that.
A lot of children these days, unfortunately, don't have light in their minds. A lot of them, their minds are filled with ignorance or pre-assumed realities that aren't really real.
Exactly. Or social dogmas.
Exactly.
That they've been fed, but not necessarily true or good for them to be as good people.
So it's just basically, my ideal of it is to supply mental nutrients to children and teach them how to think. The whole independently.
Yes.
The whole ideal of it is to be able to bring knowledge into the mind of the young man. Absolutely. And teach them the mechanics of how the mind works and how to be self-governing. Right. A lot of times we're so used as human beings, we're used to blaming everyone for everything. Exactly. And my journey is to teach kids how to be able to take responsibility for their own actions, their own ways, their own way of thinking, and be able to make coherent decisions and how to function in society, and essentially, hopefully, be able to not only change themselves but pursue in changing the world.
Absolutely.
So
I love the fact that, as you said, for people to make coherent decisions, because it's also important that we let them know that as they make coherent and cohesive decisions, with any decision you make, there are also consequences.
Yes, indeed.
Some good, some not so good.
Right.
So be aware of what you choose and whom you choose, because the people around us affect us also.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You know, and the light is this beautiful analogy for wisdom, for knowledge, for education, for self-realization, for introspection, for meditation, for self-understanding. It's very, very powerful.
Absolutely. And the Light Project is also, it's actually a learning curriculum to my book, Man.
Yes.
That's pretty much what it is. And each chapter of my book is named after some law, a universal law, like the law of reciprocity, the law of perception, the law of consciousness.
Yes.
And basically what I do is I take those laws and I break it down into a learning curriculum for children. Like, for instance, the law of reciprocity, which is do unto others as you want done unto you. Don't do to others, the silver and golden rule.
Yes.
I teach these to kids, and then I do a little illustration in class to show them in their own situations what the consequence was for their actions, whether good or bad. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, when your involvement in an organization like this, Rosemary, what does it do for you internally? Because just hearing about it and reading about it, it makes me feel really good to know that they're human beings like you and Eunique who really carry the torch of light, knowing that where I go, I will bring the light. Where I go, my goal is to move out darkness and to bring enlightenment. I want to hear about how it makes you feel internally.
You know what? Essentially, this is my passion, and this is my purpose, really. I live and drive for, earlier you were talking about, if you could do something and not get paid and be happy, do it for the rest of your life. This is it for me. Of course, I love entertainment. I love radio and stuff like that. But this is really, I hold this near and dear to my heart because since I could remember, I'm just big on helping people in a positive way. I aspire to inspire.
Yes.
In a positive light. So, and I know it sounds so cliche, but really these kids are the future. They really are. Like, if you think about it, all these people, like the presidents or anybody that is alive here, that's older now, at one point they were children.
Yes, they were.
And they had people mentoring them and giving them advice and teaching them and whatnot. And look where they are. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, for instance, like Obama, he became the president.
Yes.
But he was a child once.
Of course he was.
He had people mentoring him. He had people, teaching him. He had people, look at the influence that they had on him. So it's like we have to really focus. That's why we really focus on the kids. You know what I mean? There, and especially living in this, generation, where social media plays a huge role in molding kids, you know what I mean? So we have to really, that's why we really focus on the kids, because their mind is so tender. Their mind is so, they're very gullible in a sense, you know what I mean? They believe, a lot of things, especially if they trust a person, they'll believe. And the problem is that sometimes even adults don't know these laws. They don't know the law of perception. They don't know the law of reciprocity. They don't practice it, you know what I mean? And these adults are teaching these kids. Sometimes it's almost like the blind leading the blind, you know what I mean? And so, but, that's why we focus a lot on the kids. It's very, very, very important,
It's very important because, as you said so well and so eloquently, the mind of a child is really like this very malleable sponge. So if you fill it with goodness, by definition, the product will be goodness.
Yes.
If you fill it with hate and doubt and deprecation and a feeling of poverty and less than and not belonging, then you get more of that.
Yes.
What I love about the Light Project, it's really about, again, not only inclusivity, but really about elevating the margins of who people think of themselves.
Yes.
So
exactly.
if your mom or dad, like I had relatives in my family say, well, Levi, you're never going to be nothing. You're too black. You're not this. Your eyes are too dark. You don't have enough hair. Boy, you ain't never going to be nothing. I remember hearing that as a kid and thinking, even as a young boy, I think, they think that of themselves. They don't really think that of me because they don't know me.
Right.
You know, they don't know me.
And that's amazing that you understood that at such a young age.
As a kid, I felt
amazing.
that. I mean, I'm talking like 7, 8 years old. I would hear that from family and friends. I would sit there and think, I would just think it has no effect on me. And I would always feel like, well, whatever you think, those are your thoughts. But I think, and I am independent of you. You know, and I always felt protected. And what I love about the Light Project, it's really about protecting these young minds and then filling them with light, elevating them, really helping them to reach the boundaries of their imagination, which you and we all know, they're infinite.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah, and also with my Light Project too, I aspire to do the same with adults, and that's what I wasn't able to put it up.
Oh yeah, can you show that?
Yeah, so basically,
really
the Light Project basically, as our logo states. Oh, you want to hold it? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, I got it. I'm sorry.
I'll hold it.
Yeah. So basically, like our logo states, our basically our motto basically is to enlightening young minds to become thinkers and master achievers.
That's all right then. You're good. Talk about it.
Yeah. So basically, the main objective really for the Light Project is to eventually open a charter school called Deborah's Lighthouse School of Thinkers and Master Achievers. Basically, in this school, we'll have teachers actually teaching curriculum that's actually organic. I'm talking about like real mathematics, real history, real science, not what's dumbed down and what's taught in schools. I'm talking about the real.
Yes.
And basically, what I endeavor in the school is to teach kids entrepreneurship, how to own their own businesses, how to be masters of their own reality and create their own reality. So when dealing with adults, I have a lectorial project. Me and Rosemary are actually going to be embarking on probably 2017, where we'll be actually holding seminars for adults. And basically, it's going to have learning curriculums. Like, for instance, on my board, I have, if you can pull it up, I can tell you a few things. For instance, critical thinking, the science of critical thinking. What is the mind and what are thoughts? Understanding and conquering the you. The true meaning of love, life and humanity. How common is common sense? Light energy versus dark energy. And you'd be surprised how many people in the world don't get the concept of just the science of critical thinking, thoughts and action. We as adults make so many mistakes because we don't understand the fundamental principles of how to properly navigate it in life.
Absolutely.
It's like getting buying something from a store and not having an instructional manual of how to use it.
Yes.
So the mind is the same way. You know, and when it comes to the mind and the soul, we have to first get past the whole theoretical ideas that people have, or the skepticisms of what people have about the mind and the soul. And then the only way I can really prove their existence is by first reaching their ability to reason and logically explaining to them how this is so.
Via critical thinking.
Exactly. You know, so that's pretty much what I endeavor to do with adults. And I really believe that if we as humanity had a lot of these essential values, I think that the world would be a totally different place.
I agree with you.
I mean, conquering the self, understanding the ideal of self, that will eliminate wars.
Absolutely.
Poverty.
Of course.
Even what we just dealt with the election.
Right.
And I love what you said earlier about the fact that there was no dialogue in the whole run about unity.
None.
You know, and that really what it is. It's like a testament of where we are as humanity.
Right.
Really, that's not important.
Right.
You know, what's important is conquering people, controlling. You know what I'm saying? Being able to manipulate minds of people, because that's really what it boils down to.
Very much so.
You know,
and you think about, if you control someone's mind, you control them.
Oh yes.
You know,
yes indeed.
When it comes to thinking, I was just telling someone recently that. And she laughed about it, but she called me an hour later and she said, you know, Levi, that's quite a statement. We were talking and she said, you know, I think this. And she just went, it was like a real negative, just tirade for like 30 minutes. So, but I listened. She's my friend. I listened. But finally I told her, I said, you know, we got to talk about something else positive, because what you're saying doesn't feel good to me. And I love feeling good every day.
Yes.
So I said, you're going to either have to go and put that with somebody else, or we're going to change the conversation. I want us to talk and elevate each other. Right. And she said, well, I just want to dump this on you. I said, yeah, but I don't want to be dumped upon. You know, I said,
dump that somewhere else.
Somewhere else, you know. And then I told her, I said, you have to really think when you're saying these things, are you thinking your thoughts, or are your thoughts thinking you? And she said, I said, I have to think about that. I said, I want you to think about that. I said, I'm really clear about what I'm thinking. and how I feel. And I think if we have more clarity about the mind, the power of the mind is really the ultimate creator of the universe. It's our mind. And I think when we can understand that, be careful what you say, be ultra careful about what you think, because you create it. So if you don't have money, you think you're not going to have money, you're not going to have it. If you say, I want to have money, well, you're going to get more want. If you say, I have money and I have more money and I look forward to having more money and I'm happy for what I have and I'm grateful for now, then you get more of that.
Indeed.
You know, so the mind is powerful, Rosemary. It really is.
It really is.
So when you're with the children, Rosemary, what is it like for you experientially? Because it has to be very uplifting for you.
Yes. Oh, I love kids. Oh my gosh. I'm actually a nanny as well, part-time nanny.
Oh, that's great.
My background is with kids. I absolutely love them and adore them, and I just love their you know, their innocence. You know what I mean? I just love how, you know, sometimes, you know, the kids can come off as, you know, a little rude, but just simply because they're so honest.
There's
you know
no
what
filter.
I mean? There's no filter. Yeah. So I love kids, and I just love being surrounded by them. So just the fact that I get to, you know, work with kids and, you know, in a positive light, like just kind of mix those together, like I am just
best of both worlds.
Oh my goodness.
You know, I mean, it's wonderful. You have a chance, you know, you're working, you have Eunique working with you, you have the project, you have the children. It's really, you're talking about like what the Light Project does. It motivates, it enlightens, and it encourages. So it's all those things together really lift up humanity. That's what both of you are about. Right. And I'm just so grateful you're here.
Thank you. And you know what? It's an amazing thing, Dr. Levi, to see these kids actually grasp the teachings, like to actually, you know, it's crazy. They told Eunique that the kids were even practicing the laws outside of the classroom, outside
That's what you
on
want.
the playground.
That's what you want.
Talking about the law of reciprocity, talking about, and it's just like, you know, it gives me the chills. Like it's amazing that these kids are actually grasping what we're teaching
at 12 years old.
I mean? At 12
That's
years
powerful.
old.
Because if they get it now, the beauty of that, if they start practicing at 12, what type of man or woman are you forming by the time they're 24?
Exactly.
Or by the time they're 30?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
That's such power, Rosemary.
And that's the idea. I mean, and unfortunately, like, you know, a lot of those fundamentals that were taught, you know, in the 40s and the 50s, because, you know, I think about this daily, you know, in the 1920s and 1930s, you had actual philosophers, you know, like J. Krishnamurti, Manly P. Hall. You had philosophers that were actually, even Helena Blavatsky. I mean, these people, I have her book. Have you heard?
I have a book.
Isis Unveiled?
Yes.
Okay, yes. It's really big.
When we're offline, I'm going to tell you something else about it. But I can't say it now. When we're offline, I'm going to tell you
we'll
something.
Talk about it, right. All right. But it's funny how, you know, back in those times, you had world teachers.
Yes.
And basically what they would do is they would have conversations. You can put something up on YouTube with James Krishnamurti. He has a whole classroom of people talking about thought and action. And he's asking the question, when you think about something, is that thought, like what he just said, thinking about you, or are you thinking about it?
Exactly.
And where's that thought coming from?
Right.
He has classroom where people actually, and they're actually conversing, they're having conversation. And it's funny, I don't want to really go too deep into it, but society is funny how, just think about this, if all of humanity were thinkers, and we were critical thinkers, and we were practicing this in our everyday lives, imagine how different the world would be. You wouldn't be able to control people.
Of course
it would be
not.
impossible.
Of course not.
It would be impossible.
Right.
Jobs, servitude,
no way.
Wouldn't exist.
How could it?
How could it? So my whole thing is, I feel like when I met Rose, I know I was born with a purpose.
Absolutely.
And I feel like everybody is assigned to somebody for a particular reason.
Yes.
And the way we met, the way we connect, even the way we interact now, sometimes I'll think of something and then she'll, hey, Eunique. I'm like, yo, that's crazy.
Yes.
Or she'll be getting ready to text me. That happens. We got used to it. We're just like, I'm over
It's
used to it.
We're just connected like
We're just
that.
connected like that. It's cosmic. And I feel like my purpose in this life is to change and influence people in the way of becoming thinkers and be able to alleviate the shackles and the bonds of poverty, mental poverty and degradation that the world has put them in. And I feel like, just like in those times, 1940s and 1950s, you have philosophers. Well, I feel like I may be one of the last of this generation. And my purpose here is to make sure I fulfill the purpose of making sure that I reach and enlighten as many people as possible.
Right.
You know, and anybody that comes into my life, I feel God put them there for that purpose.
Right.
Very much so.
You know, especially even with the reality show. When I came up with the reality show LA, it's a play on words.
Right.
Because reality show right now on TV, we're showing realities, but that's not reality.
It's not reality.
And what I'm doing is giving you reality.
Absolutely.
We're gonna talk about what you're dealing with in your real life and show you the real reason why you're dealing with it and apprehensive solutions of how to actually get past those realities, you know? So and everything that we're doing, everything that I do, I really look to gravitating people, and that's why it's really, to me, it's very important that I'm here, and I'm not surprised that I'm here with you, because you know, it's just the universe just attracting. You know, as soon as I met you on the red carpet, I was like, yo man, this guy's deep.
Oh, I remember that.
I was like, we gotta this is not it. Like we better things are coming. Cause I was like, man, this guy's deep, and me and T was sitting there like listening. We was like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. So it's like, you know, the fact that I'm here is like, it's just a testament to the fact that I know that God is really pushing us in the right direction.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not a coincidence.
None.
It's none. And then you have a book that you released, and I'm releasing the book.
Just fantastic.
Yeah, and the book is called Man, His True Essence, and basically it's the dedication is to the young mind of today, tomorrow, and the present, and that's my dedication. And basically what this book is going to do, and of course I'm going to have to come to where they're at, and that's the purpose of what we're doing with the reality TV show pilot, with the radio show, is to cause the attraction of those young minds. But what my book is basically doing is, like I said earlier, teaching young minds how to think, giving them different perspectives, and making them understand the reality that they're currently living in is not really reality, but it's really a fictional, artificial reality that you just happen to be a part of for someone else's agenda. So basically what I'm teaching them is like the law of perception. Reality becomes your perception becomes your reality.
You're basically teaching them how do you break out of the matrix.
I didn't want to say that, but yeah.
Well, that's what it is.
I didn't want to say it on radio, but
no,
yes, that's what it is. That's what it is. Getting away from the matrix, exactly. And I used this illustration earlier too when I was talking to someone on the phone. It's funny how you know, when you were kids, you'll watch cartoons, right? And the cartoons are in living color,
Very much so.
They're living color. But then as soon as you walk away from the cartoon, your parents may say, well, go play in that coloring book. You'll go to the coloring book that's in black and white, and you will get crayons and start coloring. And then you'll look away from the coloring book and see life in color. So what's trippy is this. It's divine. It really is divine intervention, and it's divine law that you are told how life acts and how life functions, the anatomy of life and the very fabric of life and how it is. So when we talk about color, we're talking about artificialities, right? So in that coloring book, we never stop to look at how beautiful the picture is before we color it. The picture, and then when we try to color it, we try to stay in the lines. We try to make this as much real as possible, not realizing what we're doing is actually taking away what is actually real, right? So that's how I look at life. You know, life is really only black and white. It's not color. But when you add color to it, now what you've introduced is an artificial reality that I have to believe. In the artificial cartoon, Bugs Bunny can jump off the cliff, hang glide, and die. In black and white, I can't do that. But if a young mind believes that what they see in the cartoon is real, it then becomes their reality. And that's what's happening with young minds. They believe that what's going on the TV screens is really real.
Or what's going on in social media.
And social media is real.
Because the social media universe is also just again filled with a lot of misperceptions, misconceptions, and idiocy about what it is to live and what is life, and a lot of what I call cyber gangsters, you know, who really project to you how they want you to think, and if you take that kernel, you will become that, you know, but you're not real. You're just a perception of what they wanted you. So you're thinking the thought that they wanted you to think.
You're a program.
You're
you know?
program.
And that's the thing. Exactly.
Exactly, Rosemary.
Exactly. So how do you unprogram? And that's the thing. Like, I love computers. I'm really big on computers. And in computers, you can actually program a computer to do exactly what you want it to do.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And it's a few ways you can do it. You can write it. You know, you can write it, or you can authenticate it by putting in a specific code. You know, so with computers, I feel the human being works the same way. When you tell a human being that he's not a being, but he's simply a human, then now you can control him, because now he doesn't believe that because of something that he can't see, he doesn't believe is real. And I use the analogy of oxygen in the air. We can't see it,
Right.
We can't see it, but we know it's very real.
Very real.
Because we interact with it every day.
Right.
We feel it every now and then, so we know it's real.
Yes.
So it's the same thing when it comes to the human soul and the human mind. Because we can't see it, we perceive it as not being reality, but everything that's right side up is actually upside down.
Absolutely. I think the beauty of that statement also is, especially to millennials, is reminding them, even if you can't see it, doesn't mean it's not real. Even if you can't see it, doesn't mean it's not good for you, or that it can't hurt you if you use it or abuse it inappropriately.
Right.
We have to really be careful. I think when it comes to breaking out the matrix and really being an independent thinker of your thoughts, not being a thinker of other people.
Yes.
And the beauty of what you're doing and what Rosemary's doing also is reminding people how to be a critical thinker, how to really mold and create your life. As James Allen says so really well, is as a man thinketh, so he is.
I love that.
It's my favorite book.
That's
of all
my
time.
favorite. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I
love that.
I didn't brag. I usually give that book to folks. And this morning, when I didn't get a chance to get home as quickly, I have a copy. I'm going to give you that too. It's one of my favorite books. I'll get one for you too, Rosa.
Thank you.
Because there's another one called As a Woman Thinketh.
I'll
bring that for you.
Nice.
Wow.
It's a quick read. Take you maybe 20 minutes, but the power and the beauty and the it's not just life changing, it's life transmutative. Not just life transformative, it's mutative. It's really what I call the alchemy of wisdom. It changes us.
Yes.
On a structural DNA cellular level. We become better people, I think. And what you guys are doing is just that. Rosemary, what you're doing with your presence, with your way of living, with your way of being, with your way of teaching the children, it's really about reminding them to be their best possible, whoever they are.
Absolutely.
You're about optimizing them.
Wholeheartedly.
I just love it, Rosemary. I'm telling you, Eunique, the Light Project is really, I feel, has to be taken on not just a national level. Really, this is like global, universal thinking.
My intention. That's
That's
our intention.
That's the goal.
I'm
to
glad
go.
to hear
I'm going to
that
set up
That's
basically, it's called Deborah's Lighthouse School of Thinkers and Master Achievers. I named it after my mom.
Yes.
And basically, that's exactly what we endeavor to do. I want to have an actual charter school in all 50 states.
Oh, I
and
agree.
I want to expand. And, the public food system, I call it food system.
Right.
Right. They have their way, and I feel like I love the law of duality because they must exist, but with the law of duality, there's two sides to the coin,
Very
we
much
have
so.
a lot of bad out here. It's prevalent. We see it.
Right.
But then there's a whole lot of good that we don't see,
Exactly.
So I feel like, okay, the public food system can have their system, but then why can't we have a school system?
Absolutely. And one that it's really working.
Exactly.
That's really focused on helping young minds.
Exactly.
I want to also ask you guys, what are your social media platforms so that our listening audience and viewers can reach out to you, if they want a public speak, because both of you do phenomenal public speaking. You have the reality show, LA, of course, and you have your book coming out. So I want to hear about how they can reach both of you.
As far as the Light Project and public speaking, Rosemary Lopez is the person for that.
Fantastic.
You can find us on our website, The Light Project, spelled project.com.
Okay.
And light is L-I-T-E.
L-I-T-E, correct.
L-I-T-E.
Okay, L-I-T.
Yeah. And you can find Rosemary Lopez's information on there. She'll be the one for public speaking, for us coming to schools or what have you. She does
Schools and universities.
and
too.
university.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, what about your other social media platform like Facebook or Instagram or Twitter?
Yes.
What are those?
Instagram is The Light Project on Instagram. Everything is pretty much uniform. TheLightProject.com on Instagram, the same way Rosemary spelled it, L-I-T-E. And then we have a Facebook page too, The Light Project. Everything is pretty much the same on all social media platforms.
Fantastic. I got to tell you.
Then my Bookman too on Instagram. You can find The Bookman is on Instagram as well, and
Great.
you'll see my work and what I'm doing and all
Fantastic.
that. So.
Well, you're doing great work.
Thank you.
We really wanted to highlight you,
Yes,
your life,
thank you.
and also you, Rosemary, because
Thank you.
what you all are doing is really transformational
Thank you.
and transmutative.
Yes.
It's really about changing people, because if you have their minds, you have them.
You have them.
If you can break them out of the matrix and let them know about living a life of radical individualization and knowing that you're perfect just the way you are, then things can only get better for you. When you take away the dogmatic thinking, the sociologic dogmas of you have to do this, you have to stay in your box. You guys are about breaking the box, breaking the ceilings, glass or stone, but going through them and making things better.
And teaching kids how to function in the box and how to function outside of it.
And also how to build their own boxes.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Right. I really want to thank Eunique and Rosemary Lopez. I mean, two individuals that I admire. I appreciate the work that they're doing, and I really hope that you reach out to them and also be involved with their project. They're really about change and about making the world a better place. And they know as well as I do that when you get young minds that are malleable, that are like sponges, to really infuse them with the goodness of light, especially of the Light Project, and the value of encouragement and motivation, enlightenment, and education. These are core values that make us better human beings. And the better we are as a person, the more we can be of service to humanity. It's all about service, bottom line. Well, this is Dr. Levi. What a great show. That's all I can tell you. I want to remind everyone to join us on our social media platforms. Please subscribe and follow and like us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitch TV. We had our second Twitch TV broadcast this past weekend. It was phenomenal. So I want to thank everyone for being a part of that community. And know that we're here to be of service for you. My job as a physician, as a speaker, as an author, as a doctor is to be of service. So I'll see you guys back here next week. Remember, be kind to the veterans. Those men and women are the true heroes of America. And again, don't worry about the election. Just be cognizant of the fact that God has everything in perfect balance. This is Dr. Levi. Have a great, great week. Peace.